السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Development of the female duct system. As we discussed before, in the male system, we have two duct system. One is called mesonephric duct. Mesonephric. We have two mesonephric duct. Mesonephric, mesonephric, and mesonephric, and paramesonephric. The paramesonephric is formed of three parts. One is vertical and lateral to the mesonephric. One is middle and horizontal in front of the mesonephric, and one is vertical and medial to the mesonephric. يعني the paramesonephric duct formed from three parts. The paramesonephric formed from three parts. One is lateral, one is horizontal and in front, horizontal and in front. One is caudal and vertical and medial to the mesonephric duct. The same here. We have three parts. One is lateral and vertical. One is middle and horizontal. And one is caudal and medial to the mesonephric duct. What is the name of the blue one? Is paramesonephric. Both duct in male and female. Both duct in male and female. What happened? In female, the paramesonephric duct will disappear. The mesonephric duct will disappear, and it's a remnant in female. It's a remnant in female Gartner duct. يبقى the mesonephric disappear in female, and its remnant is named Gartner duct. Very important. Gartner duct. يبقى what happened the mesonephric duct in female? The mesonephric duct is disappear completely except duct named Gartner duct. But what happened in female for the paramesonephric duct? The paramesonephric duct have two opening. The cranial opening here will open in the peritoneal cavity, And the caudal here will open in what is called urinary genital sinus, which from the hind gut, urogenital sinus. يبقى the paramesonephric duct in female have two end, one end cranial open in the peritoneal cavity, and one end is caudal open in the urogenital sinus. What is the formation of the paramesonephric duct? Three parts. One is vertical and lateral to the mesonephric. One is middle, horizontal to the mesonephric. And one is caudal, medial to the paramesonephric. يعني start lateral, then anterior to the mesonephric, then medial to the mesonephric. طيب, what happened later? What are the derivatives of the paramesonephric in female? The both cranial vertical, the cranial part vertical, lateral to the duct will give, and the middle part, يبقى the cranial part and the middle part will give, not fuse, يعني the both duct in both sides, not fuse, the cranial and the middle part, and will give us fallopian tube. يبقى what happened to the cranial and the middle part? Not fuse, and here also cranial and the middle not fuse with the other side, and will form the fallopian tube. طيب, what happened to the caudal vertical part? The caudal vertical part of both sides, يعني this one and this one, both will fuse together and form a duct. What is the name of this duct? Vaginal canal will give what is called uterovaginal canal. What means by uterovaginal canal? Will give us what? Utero means will give the uterus. يبقى the caudal vertical must fuse. Failure of fusion will give more anomalies in this part. So what is the fused part named uterovaginal canal? Utero يعني uterus, cervix will give us cervix and upper part of the vagina, not all the vagina, upper part of the vagina, the upper part only of the vagina. أمال from where the lower part of the vagina يبقى the upper part of the vagina, the lower part of the vagina is ectodermal in origin. Lower part of the vagina is ectodermal in origin, but the upper part is endodermal in origin. يبقى the upper part, the lower part of the vagina is ectodermal in origin. يبقى the vertical and the middle horizontal not fused, and will give fallopian tube, and the caudal fused the uterovaginal canal will give us the upper part of the vagina and the cervix and the uterus. Okay. What happened later? What happened later? Oh, the blue one here is this one is mesonephric, and this one lateral and horizontal and caudal بنسميها para mesonephric. So this is mesonephric. So this is para mesonephric. Both, yeah, mesonephric named the Wolffian duct, and the para mesonephric named Mullerian duct. What happened to the paramesonephric duct? Each appear start of the beginning of appearance of the sixth week. كون من 3 part: cranial, vertical, lateral to the mesonephric, and the intermediate horizontal, vertical, ventral to the mesonephric, and the caudal medial to the mesonephric. What happened to the paramesonephric in female? The cranial end will open in the peritoneal cavity, and the caudal end will open in what is called urogenital sinus. In female, the fate of the paramesonephric, the cranial and the caudal will not fuse, will form the tube, and the fused part of the lower part only fused will form what is called uterovaginal canal, which will give the uterus, cervix, upper part of the vagina. This is the fate of the paramesonephric in female. We have to identify, very important, what is the derivatives of the paramesonephric in male, and what are the derivatives in female, and also the mesonephric in male and the female. What happened to the mesonephric, paramesonephric? The cranial part or the same. Okay. And the yellow color here is the urogenital sinus, which is the caudal end will open inside it. طيب. What is the fate of the mesonephric in male, in female? In female, we have mesonephric tubule and the mesonephric duct. The mesonephric tubule will give remnant called epiophoron, paroophoron, tubule, mesonephric tubule. But the mesonephric duct itself, this is a duct, mesonephric duct. And this part, a small part, tubule. This tubule will give remnant called epiophoron and paroophoron, which is inside the broad ligament. طب what is the derivatives of the duct itself, the mesonephric in female? Gartner duct. Gartner duct. This is the remnant of the female. طيب. What are the anomalies of the female genital duct system? The first one is named uterus didelphus. Didelphus. What means by di? يعني uterus di معناها ايه؟ No fusion between the caudal part of the paramesonephric duct. Each duct will give tube, uterus, cervix, and the vagina. So this female have, please, this female have 2 uterus, 2 cervix, 2 uterus. يعني we have duct, the paramesonephric duct. The paramesonephric duct must fuse. So failure of the fusion will give 2 uterus, 2 cervix, and 2 vagina, and the 2 cervix, and the 2 vagina. 2 vagina. Any female have 2 uterus, 2 cervix, 2 vagina. This case is named uterus didelphus. 2 cervix, 2 uterus, and double vagina or 2 vagina. What is the cause of here? complete failure of the fusion of the paramesonephric duct. اما بنعمل هنا what is the key of this imaging? This imaging is named H histosalpingography. Histo means uterus, salpingo يعني tube, graphy يعني imaging. اما عملنا dye, injecting a dye inside the cervix, this dye will go inside the uterus and fallopian tube. احنا لقينا هنا ان في عندي vagina, cervix, uterus and tube. Also here tube, cervix, vagina and vagina. So we have double double double. So this case is named or diagnosed as uterus didelphus. طيب what is the other case? Uterus باي uterus باي يعني bicornis bicollis. في fusion, there is a fusion between the paramesonephric duct, but this fusion is incomplete. Incomplete fusion, not complete fusion between the paramesonephric duct. What happened in this case? We have two uterus. Okay, two uterus, two cervix, but only one vagina. يعني 2 الكود is 221. So it is named bicornis bicollis. Bicornis means uterus and bicollis means cervix. We have two uterus and two cervix, but only one vagina. This is the code for this case. Okay. يبقى الكود for داي 222 for باي 221. طيب. So it is called bicornis bicollis. The second one, here we have this one regarding to this case. Two uterus, but one cervix and one vagina. So this is the coding for this case 211. It's called biuni. Bicornis يعني two uterus but one cervix unicollis. يبقى داي 222 باي 221 and bicornis unicollis يعني 211 يعني two uterus but one cervix and one vagina. طيب تعال نشوف الكيس دي. Here we this case is named septate uterus. Septate, very important. We have here only one uterus, one uterus, but inside the uterus we have one uterus. Inside it there is a septum dividing the cavity of the uterus into two parts. So it is named septate uterus. Septate uterus يعني حصل fusion. There is a fusion between the paramesonephric duct, but the part of the fusion is not separated or not degenerated. So it is named بنلاقي في حاجز inside كده بنسميه septate uterus. This anomaly is very important in OSPI. طيب what else? Arcuate uterus. Arcuate uterus also في fusion في a problem in the middle part of the paramesonephric duct. What is هنا? The fundus arcuate means the fundus is depressed in the middle. Where the fundus? This is the fundus of the uterus. Normal. This is the fundus of the uterus. This is a normal case. Fundus. Depressed the uterus. Depressed. What means by depressed uterus? يعني the fundus here like a crescentic in shape. شايفينه? Depressed. This is the uterus. This is the tube. Okay. This is the cervix. But here only one uterus, but the fundus of the uterus is depressed. If the uterus, the fundus is depressed, is named arcuate uterus. Arcuate uterus. Okay, what else? Bicornuate uterus with rudimentary horn. Bicornuate uterus with rudimentary horn. يعني ايه؟ ها؟ Bicornuate يعني ايه؟ Bicornuate يعني the uterus is two part, but one part is rudimentary. يعني يعني one uterus اهو and one horn. يعني the uterus is two part not fused اسمه bicornuate and one of them is rudimentary يعني ضامر. يعني هتلاقي one horn لليوترس with the other part is rudimentary ضامر. بنسميها bicornuate with rudimentary horn. يعني one part is of the uterus is large and the other one is small. So it is named أكنه double uterus بس one part of this double uterus is rudimentary. Okay, what else? Bicornuate uterus. Bicornuate uterus with rudimentary horn, the same as we said before. هذا هنا uterus and rudimentary. And we have uterus and one is rudimentary and so on. يبقى two horn, one is developed and the other is rudimentary. Okay. What else here? Unicornuate uterus. What means by unicornuate? Uni يعني one. The uterus is only arise from one duct. So it is one horn. So it is named the unicornuate. Unicornuate يعني one part. The uterus is only one horn, one part. يعني we have one tube, we have half part of the uterus, it is one horn, and one cervix and one vagina. So it is named unicornuate uterus. Here we have what is called cervical atresia or atresia. معناها ايه؟ In the uterus we have fundus body, but the cervix here is closed, open in the vagina, but is closed. The closure part of the cervix here is named the cervical atresia. انسداد, failure of canalization of the cervix. انسداد في السيرفكس. Okay. يبقى please you have to summarize what are the anomalies on female. Two cervix, two uterus, two cervix, two vagina. So it is named didelphus. Two uterus, two cervix, one vagina. So it is named bicornis, bicornis, bicullis. طيب لو two uterus but one cervix, one vagina, so it is named bicornuate أو bicornis unicollis uni. طيب لو هنا two horn of the uterus, two horn, but one is rudimentary, so it is named bicornuate with rudimentary horn. لو one uterus is one horn is absent, it is named unicornuate uterus, cornuate uterus, and so on. 16-year-old woman visiting a gynecologist for checkup. Ultrasound, note that we have ها the female have double uterus يبقى two uterus. Okay. Failure of the following process. What is the cause of this case which have double uterus? تعال نشوف مع بعض. Failure of the inferior part of the mesonephric ولا failure of the inferior part of the paramesonephric ولا superior part of the paramesonephric ولا sinovaginal bulb. احنا قلنا before قبل كده ان دي اللي بيعمل اليوترس والسيرفكس والفاجينا هي الانفيريور بارت اوف ذا باراميزونيفريك داكت. اخر حاجه الاكسترنال جينيتاليا وديد بيفور. احنا عندنا 3 جينيتال تيوبركل اللي هو الجينيتال تيوبركل واليورو جينيتال فولد وليبيو سكروتال سويلنج. ليبيو سكروتال ان جيف ليبيا ميجورا ان فيميل اند سكروتم ان ميل. اوكي. and the genital tubercle will give mesodermal elevation will give clitoris in female and the penis in male. Okay. This is the derivatives in every part. And the urogenital fold will fuse to form the urethra in of the penis اللي هو spongy urethra and not fuse in female will give labia minora. What is the case? This case named male pseudo hermaphrodite. What is the male? It is a male character, but androgen insensitivity syndrome. يعني هو male XY عنده testis لكن الاكسترنال جينيتاليا بتاعته بتبقى female. عنده تستس بس اندسندد يعني ما نزلتش. نو يوترس، عنده فاجينا بس بلايند اندد يعني مقفوله من بره. This is a female، اسمها female pseudo hermaphroditide or Phrodism. السبب بتاعها what is the cause of this case اسمها congenital adrenal hyperplasia. يعني الادرينال سوبرينال جلاند enlarged congenital فبتطلع كورتيزون كتير وادرينال كتير فبنسميها congenital adrenal hyperplasia. هي فيميل، هي فيميل اكس اكس but الاكسترنال جينيتاليا like a male. واي؟ عندها الفيميل دي عندها الاندروجين عالي جدا، الاندروجين ريليز من الادرينال كورتكس عالي جدا، فبيعمل ماسكولايزيشن اوف ذا فيميل جينيتاليا بتاعتها. بتلاقي الكلايتورز انلارجد لايك ا بينز، عندها اوفرز، عندها يوترس، عندها فاجينا، بس الاكسترنال عندها ميل كاركتر طبعا. فيها ميل كاركتر كتير، الهير ديستريبيوشن، الفويس، كل حاجه، بس هي الجينز اللي هو الجينيتك بروفايل بتاعها بيبقى فيميل. Thank you so much.